The world's greatest racehorse may have retired and be getting a little bit jiggy at stud. That's Frankel. But the world's greatest sprinter will be back in action, hopefully, very shortly. Let's just remind you how good Black Caviar is.
Still the indisputed champion of the world. We've never seen the like of him before. The invincible one. And the wonder from down under wins again. Black Caviar, 19 straight from Haylist. Just spine-tingling to watch that. To witness the best at their very best is something very, very special.
I'm the best you've ever seen in the world! Black Caviar, she's better than a perfect 10. She's 20 out of 20. Black Caviar, full lengths.
She is the undefeated champion sprinter of the world, and she'll be back soon. Hopefully Neil Werrett joins us from down under, and we thank Neil, who was due to go to bed about an hour ago but has stayed up to talk to us. It's just 5 minutes past midnight on Friday, Australian time. Very good morning to you, Neil. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying the early hours of Friday morning.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. No problem.
Well, it's great for you to hang on for us. Let's get straight stuck into it. We know the last time we saw her was at Royal Ascot. She squeezed home there and then she had various problems after. We believe she's on the comeback trail. How is she now?
She's good. Talking to Peter today, even he's very happy with her. The aim is to come back and run in the Lightning Stakes, which is around the 16th of February.
Yep.
Which is only, 5 weeks away. So we're very excited. She was at the Water Walker and, getting fitness for, she had about 6 weeks on and off there. And then she came into Peter's stable Christmas Eve, basically, and she's done a bit of light work, and next, probably even on Saturday, she'll be start to do some faster gallops. So, and all getting set for the I'd say the comeback was 6 months since she raced on the 16th of February.
Neil, we know a lot more about her now in some ways than before Royal Ascot, because we now know perhaps that Peter Moody for much of her life has had to patch her up in many ways, that she's had physical problems, and that even adds more to her incredible story. The bringing her back this year, what's the motive behind that? Because you've got an unbeaten world's greatest sprinter. What's the motive behind bringing her back?
I don't think there's really any motive. I think, we could have retired her to start, but Peter was keen to get her back and give her, basically, I would expect, and this hasn't been, we haven't confirmed this yet, but if logic speaks, she'll run probably 4 or 5 times maximum and then go to stud, probably in the Lightning, and if all goes well there, she'll probably run in the William Reid, which is another Group 1 race, and possibly come to Sydney and then Brisbane and then retire. So, I think, it'll be good for racing in Australia to have her back. And I think, all the clubs and the racing fraternity just can't wait for her to get back racing.
Obviously, she's going to face opposition that perhaps she's not been used to over her career so far. In many ways, though, is this a little bit like a footballer who's retiring and sort of having a sort of wander around the pitches to show the fans what she was made of? I mean, or he was made of in the world of football. Is this almost like a sort of farewell tour then?
Well, it will be a last probably 4 or 5 races, and I suppose you put it that way. But we're probably not to prove anything, but to get her back at the races. She's a racehorse. We could have retired her gracefully last time. Peter was keen after the heat of the moment of Ascot, and we got her back home, and she spent a fair bit of time with Peter in his paddocks at his home, and she picked up and race her again if there was any doubt that she was 100% fit. All the, sign-offs from the chiropractors, the vets and that have all been done. And, she's been given a clean bill of health and, just 6 months rest. We just got to wait now to see what happens when Peter puts the acid on her in probably 3 weeks' time to see that she's, wants to race. And if she wants to race, she'll race. If she doesn't want to race, we'll send her to stun.
The form of the Diamond Jubilee, people were saying at the time she wasn't as impressive as she could be, and we know she is better than that. Having said that, people should remember, of course, that Moonlight Cloud was a multiple Group 1 winner. Society Rock went on to be a Group 1 winner, well beaten in 5th, and there were other really good horses in the race. So the form actually did hold up. But is this as much that you didn't want her to go out on that particular note, even though she came over to this part of the world and she did what Frankel didn't do, which is conquer the world as such? Did you not want that to be the last memory of Black Caviar racing?
Not necessarily. But, we would have happily retired her, and I think, but she's a racehorse. She enjoys racing, and even as you say, her performance there. With all her injuries, and a couple of form analysts have done some, a lot of times and that on her, and she's probably ran 10 to 12 lengths below her Lightning Stakes win in the last year's Lightning Stakes win in that Diamond Jubilee. So you think of that, and I know she'll have other competition, and we understand that, but Sea Siren is a very good horse that's come up, is out there. But I think Peter's very confident that she is going well. You couldn't say better than not. People always go and say better than never, but she's hasn't got any injuries, and she's fit, healthy, and now she's just got to prove to Peter that she wants to race. And if she wants to race, we'll let her race. If she doesn't, the owners have said to Peter, do not take any risks with her. We'll send her to start.
A few more questions, Neil, and then you'll be able to snuggle up in bed, and hopefully this won't keep you up all night with sort of nightmares or anything. But as far as the future is concerned, after she's raced, we've heard these great stories that she might come and visit Frankel. One idea discussed on At the Races actually not long ago, which clearly isn't going to happen, judged from what you've said, was that she could come back to Royal Ascot and then stay here and visit Frankel after Royal Ascot. From what you've said, you're not going to put her through that again, but how does the trip to come and have a night with Frankel, or indeed a day, depending on how he's feeling, how does that work out in the future, and is it going to happen, do you think?
Well, I said once before it was possible, and it got the full back page of the racing pages in Sydney. I think, as I said to the guy, the journalist at the time, anything is possible, and Frankel is one horse that would be in amongst the top 5 stay-ins that we would consider. So,
hold on, Neil, top 5? Are you telling me Frankel's not number 1 in your list?
Well, he's an unproven stay-in, isn't he?
He is the world's greatest horse, Neil. I don't need you to forget that at this point of the conversation.
Oh, no.
Who is in your list? Who's in your list, Neil?
Look, I can't say at this
Go
stage,
on, come on. We're across the world. No one in Australia will ever hear of this conversation. Come on.
Yeah. You're renowned, Matt, for your global expertise. But let's put it this one. It wouldn't take too much to work out the top, 3 or 4.
Right. So what are they then, if it wouldn't... I mean, Frankel's £125,000 a pop. You wouldn't worry about the money, would you, at that fee?
No, I don't think that's not the issue.
Okay.
We just want to wait and see, and we've all agreed that we're not going to make a decision until we sit down all together as an ownership group and and discuss it. And we've when it became close not that long ago, we did a whole lot of mating schedules with different stay-ins and that, and everyone had different ideas. So we ended up just parking it when we decided we're going to bring her back, and we'll probably discuss it June this year, hopefully.
Okay, well, exciting times as far as that's concerned. I'm just trying to think of the top. What would you aim at? It's just so. I'm going to have a think about that while we carry on the conversation. So that happens in the future. Just tell us a couple of things that you've got going on. You've just bought a new horse very closely related to Black Caviar, who I believe won the Caulfield Guineas.
That's right. Vinery, who's a stud that I've got an involvement in, bought All Too Hard, who won the Guineas, and he's in training, and with the aim to go to the Australian Guineas in March at Flemington.
Right.
And then again, if all goes well, once that's if he happened to win that, he came second last year in the Cox Plate as well. So he's a very good, he's a half brother to Black Caviar. We'll go to start at Vinery, and at the end of next year, and depending on what happens in March, he could possibly come to Ascot this year.
So All Too Hard could come to Ascot. Now this is why I wanted you on, Werrett. This is why you're up at 12:16 in the morning when you should be tucked up in bed. So All Too Hard could come to Ascot in 2013.
Well, let's put it this way: if he wins the Guineas and he's fit and well, then there'll be a decision made to. But it has to be on the agenda to come to Ascot if we get to that stage. But we've got to sit down again. But I think it's a stay-in, well-bred stay-in, probably out of one of the best brood mares in the world now. And with his credentials, we would like to show him, possibly bring him to Ascot, and then we'd be able to at some stage shuttle him as a stay-in to Europe.
That is really good news, and we'd love you here. And for those who don't know, and there are quite a lot of people I think who didn't realise, you all flew over to watch Frankel on Champions Day, which says a lot of the regard you have for British racing and indeed for the Wonder Horse, who will be, of course, one of your top 5 stallions. I'm guessing the other 4. Really, I need to see the expression on your face while I say this. Let's say number 1 is Fastnet Rock. You'd have a little visit to Fastnet Rock. You might then have a little go with Lomro in the future. You'd love a bit of Exceed and Excel, I reckon. And what about Encosta de Largo? And maybe, if you wanted all speed, a little Night with Choisir in the future as well. I bet I'm right. At least I've got a couple in there, haven't I?
You've got a couple, but you've got a couple that are not in it.
Really? Crikey, so Frankel's above them. Right, OK. Look, Neil, we've got to let you go because we've got some live racing coming up shortly. But fascinated, really, because genuinely I know you have stayed up all night just to chat to me, and there aren't many people who do that at all.
No, we appreciate. All the owners of Black Caviar appreciated what what British racing and yourselves have, and how the hospitality we had when we were over there twice last year. And we're only willing to. We can't wait to get back, and we're all coming over to Ascot, whether we've got a horse running or not, this year as well.
Well, that's fantastic news, Neil, and we loved you. We really did. We didn't particularly to start with, but once you accepted Frankel was better, you were just top owners, and we thought you were fantastic. So can you say hello to the Spud Farmer for me and all the others, and great to speak to you.
Okay, we'll do. Thanks, Matt.
Good day, or good night.
Good night. Bye.